friend Ackerman, and this is my autobiographical narrative. Images of the night already passed through my mind as I wait anxiously for 3 o'clock, picturing my perfect black dress and flawless hair as I greet my date tonight. Knowing that it's our 8th grade year made my images more desirable. As the clock drags slowly, I know that this will be our last year at Winter Formal, and so far I was enjoying it. I had the most beautiful dress that money could buy and a date with the guy of my dreams. With all these images transfixed in my imagination, the bell rang, and I'm even close to the moment I've anticipated. I rushed home to gather my necessities to get ready. I double-checked my list to make sure that I would not forget a thing. I reached into my closet to grab the soft black dress which topped my list. Now I was ready to go to my friend's house to get ready for tonight. As I was leaving, I noticed the dark, gloomy sky. Along floated flat, gray clouds that promised rain. I prayed for the rain to hold off at least one more day as I drove away. I stepped out of the car and felt the cool breeze and smelt the moisture. Somehow I knew that my prayer would not be answered. I rushed to get ready even though I had several hours. I could not take it anymore. I was getting prickly goosebumps. For some reason my hair was not turning out the way it should. Things were not meeting my expectations. This worried me extremely. On top of all things, I could hear the heavy raindrops on the roof. I tried not to slip as I walked down the glistening driveway towards the car. I was not feeling very confident in my looks as I left the house. I felt as though I was the only one that was nervous. "Are you excited?" my friend asked. "More nervous than excited," I admitted. "What's there to be nervous about? It's our last year," she sounded at ease. "Exactly, it's our last year." I was shaking. We had arrived and I was the last to get out of the car. My thoughts were racing. Will this night be as perfect as I imagined? Then I saw my date, and all the worried thoughts dissipated when he said, "You look beautiful." I wanted these pictures to be immaculate, to remind me of a night that will be remembered. The photographer positioned us very close. The warmth of his body was comforting, yet it made my body even colder. "I hope my hair comes out okay," was all I was thinking as she clicked the flash button. We walked into the room, blinded by flashing lights. A slow song began to play. My date looked at me with hopeful eyes. I guess I hadn't mentioned that I cannot dance. My date loves to dance, so I gave it my best shot and apologized beforehand. He cradled his hands on my lower back and immediately sent chills up my spine. I wrapped my hands around his neck, but was too afraid to look into his big brown eyes. He confessed that he was shy as well, which loosened some tension. He reminded me of how beautiful I looked, and at that moment my confidence skyrocketed. There was no doubt that this date was everything my date expected, if not more. The night just flew by.
Hello.
I thought to myself as everybody walked towards the exit. We waited for our ride so we could all meet up at a restaurant.
Yeah.
On our way to the restaurant, my date offered to pay for everything, like a gentleman. As we waited for our party of 12 to be seated, we all introduced our dates. Food and drinks were passed and shared all along the long table. We reminisced over all events of the night, laughing to all the jokes told. This was definitely the way to end this night that I've had. My expectations were far too low for what that night had in store. Now that I look back on this event, I become to notice that I stressed over things that were so unimportant. Even if those small worries did fall through, it would not make the slightest difference. You will just be wasting your time if it is something that is completely out of your control. At some time you have to be mature in life, and this is one experience that has taught me that I will not always meet people's expectations. Thanks, and that was my autobiographical narrative. Awkward.